Are you tired of running around with a HPA tank? Or do you feel like it takes out the realism of weapons to be having a diving tank around your back? And how would you like to learn about the tankless HPA setup that is so easy to set up that even an 8-year-old would be able to do? Look no further, I've got you covered with a full assembly guide that is easy to follow. I'm building this guide around an M4 AEG since that is what is the most affordable and common way to start Airsoft. And some people who watch the video might even have an old AEG around that they don't want to get rid of but want to turn into HPA. The setup that is in question is the Kythera HPA engine and the Wolverine Wraith X stock. Why the Kythera, you say? Because it's the easiest with minimal tinkering involved and is super reliable because it is fully mechanical and is perfect to pair up with the Wolverine Wraith X CO2 stock. The stock itself is really low-key and small enough to be used with some AEG stocks as well. And having a CO2 cartridge just turns this thing into a monster with no additional weight. So you start by taking out your old batteries, which you won't be needing anymore. Then open up the Kythera box, where you will find your engine, some screws, and an HPA hose that goes into the stock. And then you can go ahead and start disassembling your gun. On an M4, you've got 2 pins that needs to be pushed out, and you can pull the upper receiver completely out. Now your gun is in 2 parts and you don't need to disassemble the upper part at all and can just put it aside until the end. To be able to install the HPA system, all we need to do is to take out the gearbox out of the lower receiver. To do that, you also have to remove the stock completely, which is only being held down by 1 screw. I made this Frankenstein screwdriver to get into that hole since I don't have any other screwdrivers long enough. Then the stock buffer can be pulled out and you can use this on any other gun. Remove your sling plate as well, as you can just add it onto the new stock. Remove the 2 pins under the pistol grip to reveal the electric motor, and you can just pull out the motor, which also you won't be needing. Then there are 2 more screws that needs to be taken out and the grip can be pulled off. Remove the pin in the middle which holds the gearbox as well, and pull it out, and then you can remove the magazine button as well and pull out the gearbox. Take out all the screws around the gearbox to reveal the inside, but before removing the last screws, be careful and hold the gearbox slowly, because there is a spring that is under tension and will fly off, so you open the gearbox gently. After that, you remove everything inside. And once the gearbox is stripped, you can go ahead and check your HPA engine if it works properly. The cord in the back is for resetting the system manually to fine-tune your trigger, which is by adjusting the screw under the trigger unit. I didn't tune mine too much and just screwed my extra 2 screws that came with the engine to just make the trigger pull smooth. Also note that the engine fits perfectly into an AEG gearbox, which is perfect for what we are trying to achieve. The cable when run under the gearbox is when you want to use an HPA tank, so you run it through the pistol grip, as you may have seen online. But since we are going to be using a gas stock, we're not doing that. So go ahead and open your Wraith X stock, where again is a bunch of extra goodies and screws. The stock works by using pressure and gas like a gas-powered gun and pushes the BB with insane power. The FPS and pressure can also be changed from the stock as well from a screw on top. Install your HPA hose into your Kythera. Then install your new CO2 stock onto your old receiver. On my receiver, the hole is too small for the stock to get through, so it needs to be drilled a tiny bit, which can be done with any normal power drill. Once the stock can go through, you install your sling plate and install your stock back in. Then you can go ahead and close your gearbox by hand to mark where to cut the HPA line, so you can fit it onto the stock without bending the hose so the air can flow through smoothly. Then mark where to cut the hose and make it a couple of centimeters longer than where you originally mark it, just in case you make an error. Then you can go ahead and close up the gearbox by putting all the screws back in. After that, you run the hose inside the stock buffer and put your gearbox back in the receiver like how you took it out. Mine was a pain and didn't have any space, so I cut the top of the gearbox with a Dremel to quick adjusting my hose in the process. You can do this, but you don't have to. The reset cord stays on top with slight cable management so it doesn't get in the way of the hose and the engine. And whenever you need resetting, you just take out your 2 receiver pins and reset the cord. After this, you assemble the receiver back. And if your barrel fell out, you can just install it like shown. Put the 2 pins back and lock the receiver into place. Then you can go ahead and install your CO2 cartridge into your stock buffer and install the stock itself, and you are finished. Also note that the stock itself has a screw on the bottom that needs to be squeezed and untethered to install the CO2 cartridge. And if you would like to see my full M4 build, feel free to check out my channel and watch the video linked in the description.